Let's welcome Florida Republican Greg Steube from House Judiciary. Great to have you on, Congressman. General Michael Flynn's attorney, Sidney Powell, in court today arguing, quote, outrageous government misconduct coming up in newly released FBI text messages and FBI official statements saying, you know what, Judge, dismiss General Flynn's case. Do you think General Flynn is going to win here?
Outrageous to say the least. He absolutely should win. All of these text messages and information that we're now getting out just shows the deep state that was against General Flynn and would stop at nothing to bring him down. And they took out, they all knew that they could be liable. So they took out insurance to cover themselves in case they sued. So I hope that General Flynn gets his case dismissed and then brings civil actions against all of them for all of the damage that was done to him personally, all the money he had to spend on lawyers, and hopefully he can recoup some of that.
Yeah, you know, William Barnett, a former FBI official, saying there was no predicate for a criminal investigation into Michael Flynn. You know, why were they allowed to get national security letters that are not approved by a judge or a court? That's when you do when there's a criminal probe. This now became a counterintelligence probe, and then they started getting national security letters that circumvent a judge without court authorization in order to tap into General Flynn's finances. That's how deep this thing got. And at the same time, the FBI text messages show they were saying, this is a madhouse. This is a mad scramble. This is a nightmare. You know, we're going to have to buy personal insurance here because there's misconduct going out. If this thing ever comes out in the public sphere, we're going to be in trouble, effectively, is what they were saying. So this is worse than we realized, sir. Do you agree with that? It's worse than you thought?
Yeah, it goes deeper than I think any American ever thought possible, that the highest levels of our government, you want to talk about a scandal. There wasn't any Russian collusion scandal that was perpetrated on the American people for 3 years. The real scandal was the deep state FBI and the Democrats and Obama and his entire administration that was using all of their tools they could to use a false dossier to get a FISA warrant, spy on the Trump campaign, try to take down General Flynn, because they knew that if General Flynn was in the position that he was in, he would be able to identify all of the things that was going on in those investigations and stop them. And they didn't want that to happen. They wanted the Trump investigations to go forward, the Mueller investigations to go forward. And I hope more information continues to come out so the American people can see before the election how bad people in the Biden-Obama administration and Hillary Clinton tried to take down General Flynn and others just for political purposes.
You know, Sidney Powell urged the judge to recuse himself in the case, saying you're biased. And then Sidney Powell said in court today that she asked the president not to pardon General Flynn. When you heard that, what was your reaction to that story?
Well, I think she wants to let the justice system play out, because true justice here would be for the charges to be dismissed against General Flynn. Obviously, at some point, if that doesn't happen, the president can pardon him. But I think she feels very confident with all of the misconduct that went on that this case against General Flynn should be dismissed and his name given back to him. And then she can start pursuing civil remedies against all of these bad actors who apparently took out liability insurance, so that liability insurance can pay to bring General Flynn back financially where he should have been, where he was when all of this takedown occurred.
You know, former acting director of national intelligence Rick Grinnell talked to us last night saying the government was weaponized under the Obama administration. Let's listen to this.
No question that there were recommendations to drop this Michael Flynn case, and then there was a meeting at the White House that Joe Biden attended, and Susan Rice and others, and somehow after that meeting there seemed to be a new vigor to go after Flynn and others. And so I think it's pretty clear that the evidence shows that higher-ups became very political in trying to go after the Trump team. The warning signs were there, and now we're only seeing them later on. We've got to fix this problem. We've got to make sure that government isn't weaponized.
So, you know, the national security letters, the FBI team was texting each other saying, okay, we're doing these so-called NSLs. We're not finding anything in it. We didn't find anything from the investigation about Flynn. Ha ha, this is a nightmare. There's no content that we're getting out of these NSLs in terms of Flynn misfeasance and malfeasance. Again, that's an end run around the court, court-authorized subpoena. NSLs, you don't have to go to a court to get them. This is tapping into Flynn's finances without court approval. You know, the question is, were his 14th Amendment due process rights violated? Because Sidney Powell was relying on heavily redacted emails that she's getting, and they're not getting the full story of what they were doing to General Flynn and possibly others on the Trump team.
Yeah, because they were using the intelligence community to gather all of this information and concoct all of this information. That's what was such a subterfuge with the whole Russia collusion hoax, was there was all this classified, not classified happening in the intelligence community. So it put a lot of smokescreen over what was really happening, where you had individuals trying to take down people like General Flynn, trying to take down President Trump after the election, after he had duly elected and duly won. And hopefully some of these indictments and some of these criminal prosecutions are going to come out soon from the Durham investigation, because if there's not justice done for all of this bad acting and this complete miscarriage of justice from a rogue FBI at the highest level, then a lot of Americans are going to be very frustrated by that.
All right, Congressman Steube, it's great to have you on. Come back soon.
Yeah,
okay?
great to see you.